Force Reserve Basketball Hall of Fame Invitational. The first of our two broadcasts tonight feature the Florida Gators out of the SEC and the Big East Providence Friars. Gators take here at Barclays Center, looking to keep their mojo going. Welcome, everybody. It's Hart alongside Andy Kennedy. The studio was just talking about it. The expectations for this Florida team were high because they had a great freshman class returning as sophomores, and they added the preseason SEC Player of the Year, Kerry Blackshear.
A lot of high expectations and a lot of basketball still to be played. This is the Florida Gator team that has won 4 in a row prior to their loss at Dayton 10 days ago. They won the Charleston Classic, preseason number 6 in the country. Mike White's done a tremendous job in his time at Florida, and the expectations were so high, namely because of these two outstanding incoming recruits. And then when you talk Providence, Tom, you're not the only alpha in the room tonight. Alpha Diallo coming off his 4th double-double of the season in their last win on Saturday versus Stony Brook, 17-12. And for Providence to get out of here with a huge opportunity win, that kid's got to stand up.
The expectations were high for the Friars this season. They have yet to deliver, but big opportunities in front of them. Florida tonight, home against Texas on Saturday. Here we go from Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Florida in the road black unis. Andrew Nembhard will run the point for him, second year as a starter, the native of Aurora, Ontario, Canada.
Sean and Seth were talking about it coming into the game. Florida's struggles have been on the offensive end of the floor. They're going to play late in the clock, and then they have to have a guy go make a play.
And a follow bucket from Keontae Johnson, part of that 3-headed freshman class that is starting for the 2nd straight year. Now sophomores Nembhard, Locke, and Johnson. Supported in the starting lineup by freshman Scotty Lewis and grad transfer Kerry Blackshear.
Yeah, there were a lot of expectations. Typically, you see the greatest improvement between years 1 and 2. They had all great freshman campaigns. Have not been as dynamic out of the gate in year 2, but again, we're in mid-December, a lot of basketball to be played, and when you look at this Florida team, you see that they have all of the pieces necessary to live up to those lofty preseason expectations.
Scotty Lewis, one of 2 McDonald's All-Americans as a freshman, and Blackshear goes down holding his right ankle.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure it was a contact injury. He just caught it a little off balance, looked like he rolled it. I think he's going to be fine. It didn't look good. Like you getting on the subway last night. Just a little bit of a misstep. It was icy in the city, not icy in here.
No, a lot of ice last night. Expectations high for Providence. They came in returning all 5 starters from an NIT team last year. Preseason 4th in the Big East. And while the Big East as a conference has had a great start to the season, Providence has been underwhelming. They come in at 6-5 as Khalif Young knocks down a jumper.
You know, talking to Ed Cooley, who's done a tremendous job at Providence. 5 straight tournaments prior to last year. He says really it comes down to making layups and free throws. They've struggled in the paint, finishing plays, and they've struggled from the free throw line. As simple as that sounds, he thinks if they can make layups and free throws more efficiently, this Providence team can get them back to the NCAA tournament for the 6th time in the last 7 seasons.
The loaded backcourt with David Duke and along Pipkins. Here's Diallo, who's been a double-double machine, and he takes it hard in, and he will draw the foul.
Yeah, that's their guy. We talked about it coming in, Alpha Diallo. He needs to stand up and play well in order to get Ed Cooley and the Providence Friars back to the NCAA tournament. He really likes this group, thinks they're very receptive to coaching. Again, they just left points on the floor with their inability to finish with consistency inside. And then from the free throw line, Tom, they're just over 67%, which is about 245th in the country, and that'll get you beat.
Here's Alpha Diallo, preseason first-team all-conference, as Ed Cooley talks to the remainder of his backcourt, Pipkins and Duke. Diallo uses all of the rim. Coming off of a double-double, 17-12, in a win against Stony Brook that was much needed. They had to hold on for dear life to win that one. They were able to turn Stony Brook over and come away with the victory. Mentioned that they've got Texas up next, so for a team that was penciled into the NCAA tournament to start the season, huge opportunities in front of the Friars over their next 2.
Yeah, no question. And these are the type games that you need to try to pick up something quality in your non-league, because the Big East is certainly going to present numerous opportunities.
Mike White, 20 wins in each of his first 4 seasons as the head coach of Florida. He's in his 5th now, came from Louisiana Tech. Prior to that, he was an assistant of yours at Ole Miss.
Yeah, he was a great player at Ole Miss. He worked for me there for 5 years, did an outstanding job. Went to Louisiana Tech, which led him to Florida. Mike is a tremendous young coach, and he really likes this group. He thinks he's got great kids. They've just really struggled in that regard, playing late in the clock and then not getting a quality offensive possession.
Took over for Billy Donovan. Obviously, Providence ties with Billy D. And you saw the graphic earlier, the preseason rankings as high as it's been at Florida since Billy D and the Gators had won back-to-back national championships.
Well, Kerry Blackshear was the most coveted graduate transfer in the country. They convinced him to come to Gainesville. You add in a couple of McDonald's All-Americans. You have a tremendous returning core. So expectations have been high. And again, this Florida team, I think, has the pieces in order to live up to those. They got to start making shots at a more efficient rate. They've got to stop turning it over, because defensively they're always going to be in games.
Lost to Florida State, lost at UConn, and lost on the road at Hinkle Fieldhouse against Butler last time out.
Yeah, no shame in any of those 3 losses, and they did capture the Charleston Classic by clipping St. Joe, Miami, and another Big East opponent in Xavier. So they've certainly shown capable. Mike and his staff are striving for consistency.
Diallo with the drive. He's been better in the paint than on the perimeter, but he can't finish there. And the nightcap tonight, by the way, we'll see Temple and Miami. That game will be broadcast on ESPNU. Foul on Khalif Young inside.
That was a perfect example. Ed Cooley again said, hey, man, we're missing layups and free throws. So your best player has missed a layup and 2 free throws. Problematic. Diallo can get to his spot at will. He's a big, strong perimeter driver. Got to finish in the paint, got to make the free throws.
Dead last in the Big East at 42% from the floor.
This game's going to be a rock fight. Neither team is going to give an inch defensively. Both teams don't score easily in the half court. So who can make plays such as that at the end of clock right there? Keontae Johnson showing you his versatility off the bounce.
6'5", power forward, was great down the stretch last year for Florida. Had 3 double-doubles in the postseason. And on the drive, a Florida foul, and that will go against Noah Locke. It's his first.
Inline OB, opportunity for Ed Cooley to dial something up. The special teams of college basketball are inline out-of-bounds situations. As a coach, I always wanted to be +8 in a game. Let's see if Providence can get a clean look off this set play.
Pipkins with the feed inside. It was off the mark, trying to find 6'10" junior Nate Watson.
Yeah, you can see the execution was perfect. They got the high-low look. He just threw it to the wrong side of the post play. Which typically doesn't work out, Tom.
No, that's hard to make that work. Blackshear. Got great post position.
That's the key, Tom, where he caught it off the initial 2 feet in the paint with his length. Even though he's not overly athletic, he's got great length and touch inside. If you allow him to establish 2 feet in the paint, it's going to be a long night for the Friars.
And a Providence turnover. Florida with an 8-3 lead on Providence. Well, there are a lot of reasons why Kerry Blackshear was the most coveted grad transfer in college basketball.
Versatility is the key with him, Tom. You can see from his time at Virginia Tech, they used him much like Mike has used him in Florida. You play him inside, you play him outside, you run offense through him. I think his greatest strength as a player is his ability to pass the ball. So they want to give him a position where he can make good decisions. And when he catches it that deep, he is going to finish. He's a guy that's 50% plus from the floor. He makes his free throws. From three-point line, he struggled a bit, as all the Gators have, it only for 6 for 23. But he's a guy, again, that every time in the half court, they're going to make a concerted effort to go through number 24.
He's at his best in the pick and roll, shooting 69% from the floor when they run that. Mike White's eyes lit up when we mentioned that to him in our pregame meeting. He said, yeah, it's not just good for him, but because he's so versatile, it's great for Florida's guards when they run it.
A perfect example right there. He catches it in the mid-post, and because of his ability to pass the ball, now they've gone with Omar Payne, so they've got their twin towers, so to speak. Omar Payne is a terrific young talent, so now Carey will play a little bit more as a phase 4. Let Payne go block to block, and again, depend upon Carey's ability to see the floor and to make the right decision, as you saw right there.
Payne at the free throw line, just 5 of 12 on the season now. Freshman from Kissimmee, Florida. Played at nationally renowned Mount Verde Academy. 6'10", 223. Blackshear's 6'10", 241.
Mike thinks that this young man has as much upside as anybody on their roster.
Wow.
Again, he's a young freshman. Game comes fast. High level of competition. That's one thing about the Florida Gators. They are always going to challenge themselves in the non-league. They've certainly done that to this point as well. It takes a little while to get your legs under you, so to speak, as a true freshman, but Omar Payne has got a tremendous upside.
Trey Mann with a steal, and then David Duke commits his first personal foul. And Providence is going to show some full court pressure. They ran it basically the entire game against Stony Brook and ended up with 29 points off of 20 Stony Brook turnovers.
Yeah, it's kind of passive pressure. Again, they want to extend you. If you put yourself in a position to be trapped, they'll certainly do so. But it's more passive pressure than anything else. Playing in the passing lane right there. Big steal in the half court.
Scotty Lewis commits a foul after the Malik White steal.
All 8 of Florida's points to this point, Tom, have come in the paint. They are certainly trying to go inside out and establish that where they feel they have an advantage, most especially with Blackshear. And Providence, again, is trying to find an offensive identity by which they could be more consistent on that end. That's been the frustration for Ed and his staff to this point in the season.
They thought Pipkins, who came over from UMass, would be a more effective scorer, and he's coming off of a 21-point game, but averaging only 9. Greg Gant has been in the starting lineup the last couple of games, and clear out for Nate Watson.
Yeah, good action there, big to big, cross screen, pounding it inside to Watson. Big, strong kid. Got a good deep post touch, and now he's got to go cash it in from the free throw line, where he has struggled, to say the least. 24% on the year.
6 of 25. What do you do with a guy like that?
Well, obviously, Ed wants to go through him in the post. He ran a specific play to get him a touch. The stroke looks a lot better than 24%.
Sure does.
In small sample size, you want to continue to play through him, develop some confidence. It's amazing if he can string together 4 or 5 in a row from the free throw line. This whole outlook from free throws will change. Those two look good.
About that. You see the big brace on his right knee. Missed the first 4 games of the season due to his knee injury. Florida's made 4 of its last 5.
Providence now back in this zone. Ed Cooley will change his looks to try to keep Florida out of any sort of offensive rhythm. Florida needs to go through the high post to Blackshear right there and allow him to make plays. That's where he's at his best. Shot a fade unnecessarily.
David Duke gives it up. They go right back into Watson, and the big fella draws another foul. He'll be going back to the free throw line, and quickly Omar Payne has picked up a pair.
That's been problematic for him, which is typical for freshman bigs. Providence, well coached, just had success by throwing it in the block to Big Watson. They go right back to him. Let's see if he can go 2 for 2 on this trip.
How about the confidence at the free throw line?
His numbers shooting up like your stock portfolio. The market over the last few days. It's amazing when you make 3 in a row as a 24% shooter. I don't know if we should short sell it, stay for the duration.
I don't know. All I know is we got more spending cash after our trip to Vegas.
4 in a row. How about that?
Free throw line.
His numbers shooting up like your stock portfolio. The market over the last few days. It's amazing when you make 3 in a row as a 24% shooter. I don't know if we should short sell it, stay for the duration.
I don't know. All I know is we got more spending cash after our trip to Vegas.
4 in a row. How about that?
Free throw line.
Numbers shooting up like your stock portfolio. The market over the last few days, it's amazing when you make 3 in a row as a 24% shooter. I don't know if we should short sell it, stay for the duration.
I don't know. All I know is we got more spending cash after
you shoot in your backyard, Tom, but there are other people trying to deter you from having layups, but they are layups. You have to finish plays in the paint at this level to have any chance to be successful.
Florida's been scoreless the last almost 2.5 minutes now. Trey Mann, McDonald's All-America, the freshman. Look inside of Blackshear. That's swatted away by Diallo. Shot clock at 4. See if Mann recognizes. And he draws the foul with 1 on the clock.
You get Kerry Blackshear at point-blank range. I think Watson did a good job of just using his girth, forcing him to his left side. Not nearly as strong. Block comes from help side. Right place, right time. You end up earning a trip to the free throw line. Providence with a great defensive possession, couldn't pay it off with a clean rebound. Send Florida to the free throw line, where they have not been as good, I think, as Mike had anticipated. Coming into this game at around 70%. Trey Mann has really struggled at just under 55% early in his freshman season.
And AK on the other side, big loss for Providence with David Duke picking up his second and going to the bench here at the 13-minute mark.
Yeah, most especially for a guy that's been a consistent scorer for them. Someone is going to have to step up. It looks like they're going to make a concerted effort to pound that thing inside. I love the ball when it's in the middle of the floor, a little flex action.
Malik White with a challenge 2. And then a foul on the floor of Leon Blackshear. Nate Watson has been active tonight. Not only does he have those points at the free throw line, but he draws the 3rd foul against the Gator tonight. 1st on Blackshear and 2 on Payne.
Well, he's a load. Physically, he obviously he has got the advantage. If this was a wrestling match inside over any of the Florida personnel, and his activity level has allowed him 5 free throws, his first miss of the evening. But he's getting to the free throw line because he's the more aggressive presence at the rim. Story of my life, we should have short sold it. I held it a little long. Profit's gone.
He draws 6.5 fouls per 40 minutes and on pace for that. Here's Keontae Johnson, mid-range. Draws 1 and 1.
Really like him. We had talked about when you talk about efficiency, Keontae Johnson is the most efficient Gator to this point in the season, most especially offensively. And he is just a matchup nightmare. Mike can play him at the 4, face 4, which you see now. He can play him at the 3 when they go big. He is a big, strong driver, capable three-point shooter, not volume. And he is much better at the free throw line in his sophomore year at 72%.
Wes Glover, freshman point guard, checks into the game for Florida. Keontae Johnson took over the power forward spot for Florida late last year when Keith Stone went down with a torn ACL. Likely to see Keith Stone in the 2nd game tonight. He's coming off the bench for Jim Larinagar's Miami squad. Inside to Diallo, and he draws a foul on Noah Locke. A lot of whistles tonight.
A lot of whistles, and Providence is doing a good job after initial ball reversal of keeping the ball in the middle third of the floor where they can enter it to the post and have an opportunity to work without help. And it's paying off for the Friars as they are living at the free throw line early.
Alpha Diallo 17 and 12 to go with 3 steals last time out for Providence. Just a 58% free throw shooter.
They have struggled in this regard, and it's an area that they are going to have to clean up if they're going to play to the potential that I know everyone in Providence thinks is there.
Well, they're picked 4th in the preseason poll in the Big East. If they were in that number 4 slot right now, which currently belongs to Xavier, if you go by KenPom, that would equate to a 6 seed according to Joey Brackets. Providence is far from a 6 seed. They're on the outside looking in right now with a 6-5 record.
Yeah, and in the Big East I'm very, very bullish on the Big East this year.
Here's Watson going to work.
Tremendous conference, top to bottom.
Tomorrow night on ESPN2 and the ESPN app, we've got a great college hoops doubleheader. First from Spokane at 9 Eastern. UNC squares off with Gonzaga. And then Kentucky takes on Utah at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. You think the Kentucky fans will stay up late to watch that one?
Yeah, there'll probably a few of them tuned in.
Probably a few of them in the desert. We were just there at T-Mobile Arena a couple of weeks ago. They've had some great basketball in that building already. As Diallo knocks down the first of what will be 2. Wouldn't be surprised to see an NCAA tournament end up there pretty soon.
That would be awesome, would it not? Can you see a region there? Can we volunteer to do those games?
We can volunteer for anything we want. Our network doesn't currently have that package, so it might get in the way.
You never know.
Here's Diallo, senior from New York, out of Brewster Academy. Last year led the team in points, rebounds, assists, and steals. And he used every bit of the rim to knock them both home.
They are living at the free throw line. That is number 11, or excuse me, number 12 early in this half.
Yeah, they don't have a field goal in the last 6.5 minutes, but 8 points from the line. The Butchers said 0 for 5 shooting.
Zone pressure, a little more aggressive than their man-to-man looks.
Nembhard for 3.
Yeah, that's an area. I think his stroke has gotten much better. I thought he had a little bit of a hitch in it as a freshman. I don't see that hitch in his sophomore campaign. He's only shooting 32% from 3, but it should be much higher just based on the way he lets that ball go. Right there, Providence goes under. He makes them pay, and now it leads to a turnover, open floor situation.
Glover got deep. Scotty Lewis was lucky he didn't get whistled for a foul last time down, and he'll launch a 3. And then a foul on the rebound will be called on Khalif Young. It's Young's second. A pair of starters each have 2 fouls for the Providence Friars. When we return, we'll look back to back, talking Florida basketball. They're going to name the home court after him in Gainesville.
How appropriate is that? First ballot Hall of Famer right there. A guy that did it as good as you can do it in college, and he's had great success with Oklahoma City. Coaching a completely different situation than the one he walked into.
All Big East first team point guard at Providence back in 1987. Kerry Blackshear to the free throw line.
I'm glad to see them naming the court after Billy. So well deserved for the work that he put in there. He was there a long time and sustained success throughout.
Convince those guys to come back for a second run at a title.
Yeah, very unusual in this day and age. Again, that was a long time ago. My first year at Ole Miss was 06-07, so I got the back end of that back-to-back. I wish he wasn't quite as persuasive.
Florida up 17-10 after the Blackshear free throws. Where has Providence been most successful in their half court?
Well, just pounding the ball inside and then getting to the free throw line. They're shooting 16% from the field. They've been very active on their glass, and they've gotten to the foul line 12 times just by being more aggressive inside.
Reeves fits it inside. This is Khalif Young, and he gets his shot blocked by Dante Bassett, who just entered the game.
You can tell that's what they're going to do. Again, good ball movement, good post feed, better defensive play, making a one-on-one block without fouling, which is not easy to do.
Nembhard penetrates, reverse layup off the glass.
Back-to-back baskets for him, Tom. Knocked down a 3, and that's where he's really good, when he uses size to get by you and finish inside.
Reeves off the back rim. Florida on a 7-0 run, trying to add to it. A 2-point guard lineup out there with Glover and Nembhard.
High ball screen, playing 4-round-1, and that's where he is really difficult to defend when he is at that 4 spot on the perimeter.
On a pick and roll, Malik White with the feed, and it's blocked again by Bassett.
Wow, good minutes by Bassett. Comes in and makes an immediate impact defensively.
It's at least a second whistle Ed Cooley thought Providence earned but didn't get. Glover decides to fire. How about that? And Providence will have to use a timeout. Wes Glover didn't score in the last game. Now he adds to a 10-0 Florida run. The Gators by a dozen. Hard off the ball, he could be more of a scoring threat.
Well, he got a great angle, very efficient, getting to the other side of the basket, and then this is added offense for a guy that had only made 2 in his Florida career on the season. Just raises up and knocks it down. Florida with a nice offensive spurt.
Providence shooting just 1 for 10 from the floor in this game.
And they have not taken a shot. They took 1 3 earlier in the game, but they haven't taken a shot outside that painted area. They just have not been able to finish. Now, they have drawn a number of fouls. Florida's got foul issues across their front court. And Alpha Diallo's been very, very aggressive. As he is now getting to the foul line for 7 times in 10 minutes and 20 seconds.
Scotty Lewis committed the foul. It's his second. He'll take a breather. Florida showing great depth.
Great minutes by Bassett. Comes in, makes an immediate impact, anchoring them at the basket.
2 starters, Blackshear and Lewis, talking on the bench right now. Diallo goes 0 for 2.
Breaks your heart if you're Ed Cooley or a Friars fan, because they're attacking inside, which they should. Their inability to finish, and then the free throw woes are maddening for a coach. I've been there, done that.
Just 57% from the charity stripe tonight. The battle inside with Bassett and Watson. Diallo, no. Watson with the tip in. Second made field goal for Providence tonight.
Providence gets 33% of their offensive rebounds. That's 55th in the country. Very, very good. Florida's really good off their defensive glass. That's the battle within the war. Right now, Providence doing a really good job of controlling their offensive glass.
Did you win the battle or the war last night?
Yet to be determined.
Greg Gant with the reach in. That's his first.
Big post up. Great counter. And he drew help. I'm not sure Bassett made the right decision. You see how he came off his guy trying to get his 3rd block, which led to his guy having an uncontested tip-in.
So Andrew Nembhard to the free throw line. He was the first 5-star signed by head coach Mike White. And then 2 more McDonald's All-Americans added to the mix this year in Lewis and Mann. Wide open 3. And that won't go. There's a lid on that bucket for the Friars.
No question. They've got to try to stay in this game defensively.
Nembhard fake the pass, gets it right back to Johnson. And another whistle.
When he's at the 4 spot, you're not going to be able to stay in front of him. Very few can. Good pass fake. Then he makes it, and then you give him an opportunity to get a little momentum heading forward. Florida back to the free throw line. This guy's been a good foul shooter in his sophomore season.
That foul was Malik White, the senior point guard. Blackshear will return. Preseason SEC Player of the Year. Good minutes from Dante Bassett.
Great minutes. Made one poor decision, trying to block a shot a little bit out of his area, led to an offensive putback. And Providence has really, really struggled to make field goals. You can't give them anything free if you're Florida. But he had a tremendous contribution in his short stint on the floor. Baseline screening action. Screen the screener. Again, trying to play through the low post. Good strong move, just cannot pay it off with the left hand.
Providence 2 for 14. Here's Blackshear. And an offensive foul on Kerry Blackshear, his second.
Problematic. Florida got foul problems across their front court. Providence trying to hang in.
Well, I'm thankful the officials didn't blow any whistles for the pull-up contest, because that guy would have been tossed from this game. Although he does win the sweater.
Oh wow!
Speaking
oh wow!
This guy's
getting really comfortable.
I didn't know it was that kind of party.
What have we got going on? We hadn't had much offense, but that was offensive.
Who told him that would be all right?
Yeah, I mean, what makes you think, hey, after knocking down 4 pull-ups in front of the nation, you could just take your shirt off?
I mean, what's the line? The line's got to be 20, right, before you're allowed to do that? It's like a 100 hitter having a walk-up song.
I know this. I know Providence cannot compound their offensive issues with turnovers. They have got to get shots at the basket. Offensive rebounds have been their best friend. Great ball movement right there. Great spacing, great movement. And how about Kez Glover? Comes into the game with 2 made threes. He's already given us 2 in the first half. Florida is really good defensively, Tom. They always have been on cue. Now they give up a and one. 33rd rated defensive efficiency team in the country, so they're not going to give them anything easy. You're talking about easy. This was not easy. I'm not a very compassionate man, but I started feeling bad for him until he did that. And then after that, you're on your own, partner.
Sorry. Diallo knocks down the free throw. I mean,
no, you're not. Sorry, not sorry.
Bring your bail money if you're hanging out with that guy tonight.
Holy moly. Zone pressure by Providence, trying to create a little offense from their defense. Florida with multiple ball handlers, no problem. Good move there, over dribbled.
It's Malik White with a run out. Feeds it ahead to Diallo for the dunk.
Trey Mann, 1 bounce, too deep, got into traffic, turned him over. Providence gets out in the open floor.
Good left by Nembhard. Here's Johnson. And Providence trying to put a run together.
Poor decision there. Number 1, I don't like the pass. Number 2, even if he would have caught it, he would have been under the basket. Right here, got a little deep, a lot of hands around. Leads to a Providence opportunity in the open floor. Leading scorer, the real alpha, finishes over the top.
Jason Jatobo's in the game for the first time for Florida. He provided a nice screen. And Trey Mann able to hit off the window.
That was a man-like finish. Law of verticality. Big fella from Providence. Big Nate Watson came over. Straight up, straight down. Trae Young played through him. Impressive move for the freshman. Too much dribbling here by Diallo. You got to get the ball reversed. Ball has stayed on this side of the floor for the last 15 seconds.
And Diallo went right into the defense, but drew the foul. It'll be on Trey Mann, his first, and a moment ago, this nice move by Mann.
Yes, this was a great move. Extra pass, caught him in a closeout, drive, drift, wipe it, get to the rim. Good, solid presence by Watson. Trey Mann is athletic.
Drive,
able to finish over
Let me
the
make
top.
sure I got the words right. Drive, drift, wipe it. Kind of like our Uber driver last night.
Yeah, he got 3 stars.
Diallo's got another free throw coming. Bassett returns for Florida, and Keontae Johnson will get a breather. 16 free throw attempts for Providence so far. 16 field goal attempts. They've made more free throws than field goals.
It's a group that averages a little over 20 free throw attempts a game. Well on pace to exceed that. May exceed it in the first half.
Diallo scored the last 6 for Providence.
Florida has to stop fouling. Now they're back to their big lineup.
Without Blackshear, he's got 2. Mann hangs and hits again. He's spun it around to go back to the line. And the McDonald's All-American is showing out tonight in Brooklyn.
Yeah, another incredible drive off initial ball screen. Turns the corner up, under. Excellent finish. When you start on one side, the ability to finish on the other. Trey Mann 2 big-time moves for that young freshman.
Man only played 18 minutes in Florida. Is showing out tonight in Brooklyn.
Yeah, another incredible drive off initial ball screen. Turns the corner, up, under. Excellent finish. When you start on one side, the ability to finish on the other. Providence just keeping themselves in it from the free throw line and then battling for extra opportunities off their offensive glass. Dead ball rebound there. Another inline OB. Let's see if Providence can get a good look.
Glover with the board.
Great blockout. Blocked out Diallo, who's probably given up 6-7 inches. Got him early. Great block out by that young freshman.
How about this 3-guard lineup for Florida? Glover firing again.
Ooh. Not sure I like that shot, but he has made 2 in this half. Earned the right for 3rd. A good shooter off the backboard. That was him from that angle. I like to see a little high ball screen here. This is where Andrew Nembhard is at his best. If you can get him in the middle third of the floor and let him play, he's got a size advantage at this point guard position. You just got to be aggressive. Their spacing is outstanding. Leads to another drive.
Oh my goodness, how did Glover get that to go?
And another impressive finish. Up and under.
A Massey for Glover. 2 threes and a finish at the rim. White with a skip pass, and they get it inside to Watson.
Andrew Nembhard very aware, dug down, not allowing Watson to turn to the middle of the floor, but that's how they're staying in it. Diallo active off the offensive glass.
Alva Diallo's got 12 of Providence's 20.
That's their 7th offensive rebound of the first half, allowing them to stay in the game just off effort.
He has scored the last 8 for the Friars.
Back to the zone. They've had a hard time of staying in front of Florida off the bounce, so Ed goes zone, and they still can't stay in front of the bounce. Good ball screen allowed him to get in the teeth of the zone, and good finish.
Nembhard a perfect 3 for 3 in this game.
He's got an old school game, floaters. Not going to blaze by you, plays angles, great touch, great poise.
Another dig down on Watson. He muscles his way up, but leaves it short.
Mike's getting great bench minutes from his bigs, especially defensively in lieu of their foul trouble.
Good extra pass. The 3 ball won't go. Providence still hasn't made a 3. 0 for 8 from deep. And an aggressive tie-up. They'll untangle them with Florida holding on to a 16-point lead.
Kes Glover giving us great production. True freshman, showing that Trey Mann is not the only one that can go up, can go under. Tremendous finish. Right there when it's all said and done. They're certainly a work in progress, but as you and Sean were talking, defensively they're going to be solid every night. They're shooting 52% tonight, and they're getting great bench production out of their youngsters. You got to remember, Mike's playing with a lot of young guys, and if they can become more efficient, most especially from the 3, I believe that they will be in the top half, the top 2 or 3. I've seen Auburn. Tom and I have done a Tigers game, and Bruce has got a tremendous team. Kentucky's going to be Kentucky. We've had Mississippi State's had some quality wins, so the top of the league is as strong as ever. Right
now, Joey Brackich has 6 from the SEC and 7 from the Big East. Watson fighting. You heard that they'll talk a little bit about Minnesota and Ohio State on the E-Trade halftime report. Seth proving that he's a front runner. You beat number 1. You come on his podcast with him and Dockage. They had Richard Pitino on.
I mean, you got to pay the freight.
I guess so. Watching the free throw line to foul on Dante Bassett.
I like Nate Watson. I like his activity level. There we go. Makes a free throw. Comes in at 24%, but he's been much more efficient tonight.
Big East was 7 in, as I mentioned, according to Joe Lunardi. Tied for the 2nd most, and Ken Pom has Big East as the 3rd best conference in college basketball. Who impresses you out of that league?
I think top to bottom, the league is outstanding. You know, DePaul has come out and gotten some quality wins early, and many predicted that they would be one of the bottom tier. I've seen Butler a number of times. I think they have got a really good team. Kamar Baldwin is playing himself into All-American consideration. Jay Wright, Villanova, Creighton. I think Greg McDermott does an incredible job. That league top to bottom. No easy outs there, my friend.
According to the net rankings, they have 7 in the top 7. Keontae Johnson off the mark. And they got a foul inside on Andrew Fonts. Just checked into the game. Friday bowl season begins. It starts with Buffalo and Charlotte. The Makers Wanted Bahamas Bowl. That's your speed, friend, at 2 Eastern on ESPN. Then at 7:30 on ESPN2, it's Utah State and Kent State squaring up in the Tropical Smoothie Cafe Frisco Bowl. And both games are also live on the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere.
Yeah, I like all 4 of those words. Makers Wanted. Big fan. Bahamas Bowl. What could go wrong there?
Oh, I've seen what can go wrong. Bassett with another free throw coming. He rattles it home. He is now just 3 for 6 from the line this season.
He's given him great minutes, though. Mike has been able to steal a lot of minutes and not have to risk 3rd fouls on his starting front court. But Providence is just staying in the game as they have now gotten 11.
He walked halfway to the tunnel. Gary Blackshear with 4 points and 2 fouls. Been on the bench for a while. 11 offensive rebounds for Providence.
It's the only thing that's kind of kept them in time, and they're eating on the free throw line. Let them eat. Let them eat. They got to cash in, though. You got to just hang around, hang around, hang around. They just cannot seem to catch a offensive rhythm whatsoever.
Ed Cooley challenged Alpha Diallo early this season. Challenged him to a 20-rebound game. And if you put yourself in Ed Cooley's head, you could see what he's thinking with Alpha Diallo, because if Alpha Diallo is always active on the glass, Providence is going to have a chance to win.
Yeah, no question. Here's a guy that averages just under 9 rebounds a game, and he's one of the best offensive rebounding wings in all of college basketball. He is really struggling from the free throw line, and he has not finished as efficiently as Providence needs him.
3 ball off the front of the rim. Providence 0 for 9.
Yeah, not close. Good execution of the set. They were trying to flare. A little pop 3. They have not been close offensively. Back to this zone, but the middle is so open. They're still able to pound it in the block. Big fella, Tobo, dribbled himself out of an angle. He caught it at the block, took one power dribble to the baseline, and ended up killing his angle.
Step on the sideline. We've seen that a lot in college basketball this season with the extension of the 3-point line.
It's hard for all of us to stay within the lines from time to time. We have seen that in the corners. Corners are problematic.
Sharp edges down there. 15-point lead for Florida.
Florida could get a 2 for 1. Surprised Andrew Nembhard didn't just turn and shoot that in the basket. He was about 6 feet away with that floater. Chose to go to Kez Glover, who's knocked down 2 threes. Not that time.
Providence has missed each of its last 6 field goal attempts.
We need something positive to head into the locker room here. Looks like a high ball screen in the clock. He rejects it.
Duke off the window. Rebounded by Jatobo. Here's Glover from midcourt. Wide left. Fewest points scored in any half this season for the Providence Friars. They trail 37-22 at the half. That's the story from here. Lots of whistles. Lots of whistles back in the studio. Kevin Connors trying to keep Sean Farnham and Seth Greenberg in check. Kevin, all yours. Good luck.
But it's never.
Barclays Center with Florida holding on to a 15-point lead on Providence at the half. Welcome back. Tom Hart alongside Andy Kennedy. Kind of a rough rock fight kind of first half, but Florida got plenty of production from everybody who saw the floor.
Well, we knew it was going to be like this. Neither team was going to give an inch, most especially in the half-court D. But Florida's bench is the one that came forward for them. 15-8 advantage for the Gators off the bench, and it was really led by these two dynamic freshmen. Trey Mann and Kez Glover combined for 14 of those 15 bench points and did it in an efficient manner, more than just taking jumpers. Incredible finishes at the rim.
All right, let's check out our first half stats presented by the Basketball Hall of Fame. And the play of the night, our guy on the pull-up bar said, let's show them what it's all about. I got your Christmas sweater right here with the Gator chop. Providence, 12 points from the free throw line, 10 from the floor. You left us all with a toothache, Trey Mann. What do you think about our guy?
Well, I think somebody from Providence should take his confidence. That dude is not
some misplaced confidence.
He is not lacking in confidence. He knocked out about 3.5 pull-ups, shirt off, upper deck.
Said I dominated the mystery man in the Florida shirt. Providence opening zone second half. They played a good chunk of it in the first half. And Keontae Johnson knocks down a triple. His first three of the night.
You cannot ask for a better offensive possession for Mike White and his Gators. Right and directly in front of his bench, they got it to Nembhard, right in the heart of the zone. He turns the ball to a wide open Keontae Johnson, who, again, not a volume guy, but a guy that comes into this game at about 39% from three, and you see why.
Nembhard with the help. Here's Diallo on the slice, and he gets it to go.
Good finish as well. That kid is really, really active, good interior passing. And finally, for the Friars, they were able to capitalize at the basket. If you're going to play in this zone, which it looks like Ed Cooley is committed to doing a lot, you've got to keep the ball out of the high post, or Andrew Nembhard is just going to eat you alive.
Blackshear had to sit a good chunk of the first half with a couple of fouls.
You're going to play zone, and you cannot let that thing go to the free throw line extended at will, most especially with the best passer in the building, Andrew Nembhard.
Nice touch from Nate Watson.
Nate Watson had a good first half, Tom. He now has 10 points, 5 rebounds, 6 for 8 from the free throw line. Good for that young man, coming in at 24% in the season. Providence with 12 first half offensive rebounds. That and the fact that they attempted 21 free throws is the reason that they still have a hope and a prayer, but that will evaporate quickly if they continue to leave Noah Locke open.
Noah Locke with his three of the night. One area of promise for Providence. Juan Pipkins and David Duke held scoreless in the first half. If those guys get going, it'll be a different looking team. Another bucket for Nate Watson.
Well, they've got to string together some stops. They've allowed Florida to catch a good rhythm out of the half. The zone has not been effective for the Friars. Good passers, and they've done a great job. Mike's done a great job of getting Nembhard in the middle of the floor.
Speaking of passing, how about Andrew Nembhard in this look?
Well, this is exactly what you want. You get the ball reversed, you go to the high post, you play high, low for a streaking Kerry Blackshear to finish over the top. That's all based on great spacing, good initial movement, and then attacking the zone from the center of the floor.
Florida hasn't been a great assist team on the season. They assist on only 44% of their baskets, which puts them into the 300 range. The college basketball rankings. Here's Scotty Lewis, and he gets inside. Will reverse it again. Scotty Lewis going coast to coast.
Yeah, they were trying to. Providence was trying to throw a lob. Florida doing a good job of sniffing it out, putting bodies on bodies.
Providence has already made 3 field goals this half. They only made 5 in 28 attempts in the first half.
You can see why people were so excited about the potential of this Florida team. We have seen these freshmen. They have all of the physical tools to be tremendous players. We saw Glover and Mann in the first half. Here in the second half, we see Scotty Lewis. Bad pass over the top, good advance, and another athletic finish for Florida.
A lot of promise in this Florida team because of the recruiting class that Mike White put together. First time he's had 2 McDonald's All-Americans, Scotty Lewis and Trey Mann. Omar Payne, top 100 recruit at number 44. Another free throw coming from Diallo. You think about the excitement that they had around the Providence program when David Duke committed. October of 2017, a local kid from right there in Providence, Classical High School, Cushing Academy. He and A.J. Reeves were both top 50 recruits, and that was a big deal at the time. Well, Florida has 3 top 50 recruits in one class alone.
Yeah, a lot of highly rated guys on the court tonight. David Duke has not put his imprint on this game to this point. But he is a guy certainly capable of going on a run, and that's exactly what Providence is going to need if they had any hope of fighting their way back into this game.
Duke and Reeves are both 0 for 3 in this game. Shot clock at 5. Noah Locke behind Payne. And now Nembhard has to hurry. A line drive that skips out.
Yeah, Noah Locke had no idea what the shot clock situation was, and that's odd because he was right in front of his head coach, who I'm sure was telling him.
Deontay Johnson commits his second personal. Tomorrow night on ESPN2 and the ESPN app, a great college hoops doubleheader. Stay up late because it'll get started at 9 o'clock from Spokane. UNC makes a trip out to take on #2 Gonzaga. And in Kentucky, goes to Vegas to take on Utah. That's at 11 o'clock from T-Mobile in Las Vegas. Talking to Mark Few earlier this year about that North Carolina series, he said, man, college basketball is a big deal in Spokane. He said, but when we went into Chapel Hill last year, it was just a different level. He had a great appreciation for what Tobacco Road means to college basketball and how those fans treated Gonzaga. He said, we were treated like a blue blood when we came to town. And that's exactly what they are.
Yeah, a lot of respect from those two programs, those two great head coaches. Don't go away. It'll get better.
You may have seen our friend Sean attempting to do pull-ups and pulling his shirt off to do the Gator Chomp in the first half. Well, our crack research team got on the case. We found out that Sean is a copier salesman from New Jersey. He's not a Florida grad. And his workout routine, he says, consists of some elliptical work at the Y. Not exactly a CrossFitter, AK.
Well, I see him doing 12-ounce curls right now. Not mad at him for that. He thought it was a good idea at the moment. We've all had those in our time here in Brooklyn.
He told me that he took the day off work to come to the game. He became a Florida fan because of his family trips down to Disney World and down to Florida as a youth. So why not adopt the Gators?
Another win for Disney. We're all about that.
That's right. That little stock price. Trey Mann with the drive. He did start early. Happy hour began at about 3 o'clock. Sean and his brother.
Is that early?
Fair. Shot clock at 5. Man, trying to shake the big guy Young. Never got any space in a shot clock violation.
Yeah, just poor awareness at the end of the clock, and it's been a couple of young guys. Those are the things that will make that guy who looks like he's about 35, it'll make him go gray early. Forgot his ball. I can't even have his hair jokes. But not aware end of clock here a couple of times for Florida. It's the only way the Providence can get back if you're not efficient offensively.
The wild shot from White. Here's Quez Glover. Wow, what a job by Glover using the glass. 3 different Gator guards that put it off the window with a little spin to get it to go. And Glover's moving in on his career high as a freshman. Duke from the baseline, still scoreless. But they got the foul on Deontay Johnson, his third.
Quez Glover's giving them great minutes, probably their MVP to this point. He came in the first half, knocked down a couple of threes, really completely changed the dynamic of the game, gave Florida its first separation, and now he continues in the second by making another impressive open floor finish.
Here's David Duke at the free throw line. He grew up just 1 mile from campus in Providence. Everybody wanted him. Villanova, Indiana, Syracuse, Wake, and Virginia Tech. And on October 13th of 2017, tweeted out that he was committing to Providence. That got a lot of folks' attention, including former first rounder Chris Dunn. Part of a great history of guards in Providence college history. Duke is finally on the scoreboard with just free throws, but still hasn't made a field goal.
But they need him to have a big close to this game if they're going to fight their way back. There's still plenty of time. It's a 17-point game. You got to string together some stops. Florida much more efficient in the second half, most especially that guy. If you let him stay in the middle of the floor, Andrew Nembhard is a problem.
First miss of the night from Nembhard. Diallo with the feed, and Watson couldn't squeeze it.
I like the intent. I don't like the execution. Diallo was in the center of the rim. He's an athletic big wing. I wish he would have tried to just finish over the top. That was a tough pass and a tough catch. First inline OB, Mike White, one of the best in the country in these situations. Their first opportunity. Hard to believe that as we've been playing for what seems like forever. Anxious to see what he dials up. Providence did a good job of not allowing Florida to cut to the ball. And then they do a bad job by bailing out a contested jump shot, sending Scotty Lewis to the free throw line.
That's a third on David Duke. Ed Cooley not thinking about taking him out just yet. Down by 17, and Scotty Lewis to the free throw line. Number 10 prospect in the country. His measurables off the charts. A 40-inch vertical. He runs a 10.6 100 meters. He high jumps 6.6.
He does have all the measurables, and he is a terrific defender, a willing defender, great feet laterally, active hands, tremendous defensively. The offense will come. He's got to be patient. Young freshman, averaging about 8 a game, not as efficient as I'm sure he would like, but
when's the last time you saw an old freshman?
Good point.
There's some of those Australian rules punters in the college game come in at 28.
Another good look by Providence. They just cannot get it to go from the perimeter.
And then Reeves steps on the end line.
Having a difficult time catching a rhythm.
So Ed Cooley, and like his counterpart Mike White on the other side, dealt with high expectations coming into this season, and they have yet to deliver on them. I'm just curious from a coach's perspective. Obviously, you notice what those expectations are, even if you don't subscribe to it. Does that make a coach's job harder?
No, Ed Cooley has established his coaching acumen with what he's accomplished at Providence. He wants the expectations because that means people are paying attention. He's not going to run from those. And all you can do as a coach is continue to put in the work each and every day and hope you can turn the corner. He talked about it. Last night I gave him a call. He says, hey, Kay, we're struggling, man. We can't make layups and free throws to the level that we need. And if we could clean those two areas up, and we've seen that tonight, then he feels like they've got a chance to be very, very competitive in a very good Big East.
Busy offseason for him, coaching the Pan Am Games. Also interviewed for the Michigan job that came vacant when John Beilein moved on to the NBA. Instead, signed an extension to stay at Providence, his hometown. Third foul on Omar Payne.
Are you spreading rumors? Did he interview, or was he just involved? You got the tail number to the plane? I mean,
what are you
throwing out there?
Nobody knows what really happens, right? There are enough intermediaries.
I know that Ed loves Providence. Providence loves Ed, and he's done a tremendous job there. Tonight, a little unindicative of their struggles offensively, even though they've had them. Tonight, it's just been compounded with their inability to finish at point blank. And as a coach, you judge the quality of your shot, and the quality of their shot is not bad. Their inability to finish is maddening.
Here's Bassett on the block. Double came. And it ended up in Trey Mann's hands.
Ball doesn't stick when it comes to Andrew Nembhard, though. Pass that led to the pass. Now it's sticking in the corner because that's a true freshman. Very, very difficult shot. It's going to lead to a numbers opportunity in the open floor for Providence.
Duke the lob, and it got knocked away by Lewis. But a foul will go against Florida on the play underneath the basket. So on Dante Bassett, his third. So foul trouble piling up for Mike White's team, including Gary Blackshear. Preseason Conference Player of the Year is on the bench with 3.
Kez Glover with 10 points has been outstanding. That was a bad shot, just like a turnover, because it led to an opportunity for Providence to get something in the open floor.
Loose ball. Diallo goes on the floor for it. So does Mann. And then Mann gets fouled by Reeves. lying on his back, and A.J. Reeves commits his third.
Great activity with his hands from Scotty Lewis. We just talked about that. Just being active in his length causes a deflection. Freshman to the floor, then his counterpart, Trey Mann, to the floor. Guys are giving max effort. Foul, sideline opportunity right in front of Mike White. Nembhard back at the point. Providence man-to-man, trying to run some baseline screening action. One under, one over. Glover with a much better decision on this possession.
Nembhard kicks to Mann for three. Got it! Trey
Great
Mann
pass.
knocks down his first triple of the night. It's the largest lead for Florida. As long as the Gators fans keep their shirts on, should be a good night for them. Welcome back to Brooklyn. Tom Hart alongside Andy Kennedy, our fantastic ESPN production crew. We've got another one following this. We'll move over to ESPNU for Miami and Temple. It is the last of three tonight.
First one a little tighter than this one.
Yeah.
Overtime.
Mitch Hamilton's Princeton team knocked off Iona 90-86 in overtime. Princeton came back from down 16.
Impressive win for them. What did you think about Princeton when you were entering the collegiate realm? Mail in your mailbox there in the Hart household.
Very well, do you? Closest I got was Poison Ivy. 53-32 Florida. Let's pay some bills. I don't know if you heard this, but Kim Kardashian West had to Photoshop her daughter into the Christmas card. I think we've all been there.
Yeah, if we haven't, we'll be there one day. Maybe not with the Kardashians.
Glover,
but you get my point.
Yeah, I think I do. Here's Reeves for three. Happy holiday season to you and yours.
The gift that keeps on giving. The inability for Providence to generate any offense from the perimeter. 0 for 12 now from behind the three-point line. Gotta get that shot clock right. Let's make sure let's get that right.
I thought the Jelly of the Month Club was the gift that kept on giving, according to Clark W. Griswold.
Christmas vacation never gets old. Good ball movement. Go through your best player. Inside out. Good close out there by Bassett, who's been tremendous for him defensively. And finally, Providence breaks through.
Juan Pipkins was a 1,400-point scorer over 3 years at UMass, and he finally gets his first bucket tonight. Trey Mann answers with a drive.
Trey Mann, Kes Glover, Scotty Lewis. All three of those freshmen have been tremendous in the open floor in their abilities to finish efficiently. Something that Providence has struggled with, most especially in the half court.
Here's David Duke.
If they hadn't struggled in this area, offensive rebound number 17.
Wow.
Good strong finish right there by their best player, Alpha Diallo.
Diallo's got 17. He recognized the height advantage on Glover and took it right to him. Nembhard in traffic.
Second back-to-back double-double. 17 and 12 in their last win against Stony Brook. He has had another double-double. It has not been because he has not produced. He just needs some help, especially when Providence has the ball.
He likes the aquatic opposition. Seawolves and Gators. Lewis pull up. Got it. That's a nice-looking jumper from the freshman.
That shows you the potential that made him a McDonald All-American 5-star recruit. He's got the whole package. We've seen it defensively. We've seen it in the open floor with his finishes. And right there, that is not an easy shot. 17-foot pull-up. He makes it look easy.
Bassett's fourth. Well, tomorrow night over on ESPN, our NBA Wednesday night doubleheader starts with the Heat taking on the 76ers at 7 Eastern. And the Mavs host the Celtics. Both games are on ESPN and the ESPN app. How about the Kentucky product for the Heat? Doing pretty well.
Yeah, I got
Adebayo, player of the week.
Tyler Hero, another Kentucky product.
Not a bad start for Hero.
Not a bad start at all.
How about Tiny Archibald in the building?
Wow, legend right there. Maybe one of the original under 6 feet superstars. As good as there has ever been at the point guard position. You a Celtics fan or a Lakers fan? You had to be one or the other growing up.
Yeah, I was Celtics.
I thought you were Rockets, maybe Billy Paul. You had this poster, the Whopper. You were Celtics, yeah? Me as well. Love Nate Archibald. JoJo White on the wing.
I couldn't be a JoJo White fan as a Missouri guy.
Met Kevin Greavy earlier.
How about that?
Yep.
Where'd you meet up with him?
Well, I just saw him in the bowels of this beautiful facility. Talking about a great player. He was a great player.
This Florida team's seen some ups and downs this season. Their opening loss to Florida State was an ugly offensive performance. Here's Lewis from 2. Then they won 3 in their holiday tournament in Charleston. And now they're on a stretch with a victory tonight. They will have won 5 of their last 6. Diallo mid-range, no.
Yeah,
What's different? What changed with this team, or did anything?
Well, I think they are getting better offensively. They're not shooting it as efficiently as they need. They were really turning it over early in the season. But as of late, they've done a much better job in that regard, and I think a lot of it is just based on this guy having the ball. Andrew Nembhard is the guy that you want making decisions if you're Mike White in the half court for the Gators. And these freshmen just have to grow up. Trey Mann, he's been up and down. He's been tremendous tonight. Scotty Lewis, Kez Glover, 3 guys with a lot of potential that have to settle into roles, and roles can be prematurely determined early, but they will not come into fruition until those kids accept those roles and grow into them, and that is a process.
How are those roles defined prematurely? Just by reputation or by expectation from the individual?
Thank you, both. I think sometimes guys think it's going to be easier than it is when you make the transition to a program like Florida.
Wow,
great pass.
And a finish inside from Omar Payne.
Another tremendous pass by Andrew Nembhard.
He's got 5 assists tonight. 30 minutes of action. And then Providence gives it up. Speaking of Lakers, how about a little Magic Johnson look here?
Yeah, when Andrew Nembhard plays in the center third of the floor, where there's no help on that dive to the basket, we see him do that a lot to Terry Blackshear. But now Omar Payne, another one of the highly valued freshmen, rolls right to the basket. Great pass, great catch, and that kid is a really good, strong finisher.
Stays with Florida. Providence going full court again.
Trying to create a little bit. You've got to caution to the wind if you're Providence now. To fight your way back, you're going to have to get some help from Florida giving you the ball. And they have struggled with turnovers. Andrew Nembhard is really their only guy that game in and game out is going to make solid decisions with the ball, and he can play through contact and over the top with his size, as we see right there. Great drive, great drift. I like the extra pass, but Noah Locke is not prepared to shoot, hence the air ball.
You're saying he missed that before he even received the pass?
You make jump shots with your feet. I know that sounds crazy, but
not the craziest thing
you've heard me say a lot crazier in the last 3 minutes. Shot preparation was not good. He may have been surprised that Keontae Johnson made the extra pass to him and didn't shoot it himself. Ended up not being set, taking a floating three-pointer.
A strong move by Pipkins, excuse me. The Chicago native now has 5. Speaking of expectations, here's a guy that came in after 3 years at UMass. They thought they were getting a great scorer. He went from 21 points a game 2 years ago to just 16 last year, and now at 9.
Yeah, you can just see from an efficiency standpoint, he's just struggled. He's under 30 from the field. He's around 28 from 3. He has not missed a free throw coming into this game for a team that has struggled in that regard. So with the exception of him, they've had issues, but he's been really good in that regard in his Providence time.
Locke. And an offensive board, a putback for Keontae Johnson. Nice tall glass of Keontae.
Sign me up. Providence has made this a reoccurring theme. Let's play inside. And Florida, at about the midway part of the first half, started doubling that low post touch, most especially when it was Nate Watson who was giving them some problems early. Great adjustment mid-game by Mike White, and it has paid dividends for the Gators.
Watson with the putback.
17th offensive rebound. Florida has not done a great job of securing their defensive glass, and as a result, Providence, who is one of the best in the country at offensive rebounding, has been dominant in that area tonight.
Nembhard at 6'5". Here's Lewis. The next step of Scotty Lewis's game for Evolution's sake.
Well, I think shot prep there was not great either. The kid's got a good stroke, but he's just got to be more consistent in some of those areas. Andrew Nembhard's going to continue to set the table. They just got to cash in.
Right knee injury.
Yeah, I hate that for Cole Anthony. What a tremendous young player. Hopefully it was just a meniscus, so hopefully it won't be anything that's going to be long-term for him and for North Carolina. But to your point, Tom, I think it speaks to college basketball in general. Who are the prohibited favorites as we head into the Christmas break? A number of quality teams, but no one has certainly singled themselves out as a team that you could pencil in to be in Atlanta the first week in April.
By the way, speaking of Cole Anthony, his dad Greg, who was a superstar player UNLV and then in the NBA, obviously, put an Instagram post on earlier this evening showing Cole walking gingerly through the North Carolina trainer's room, praising the North Carolina family for giving him such great support during this time. Here's Blackshear saying that he will be back soon. Corner three goes for Noah Locke.
Best offensive possession of the night. Maybe the best offensive possession for Florida in this young season. Tremendous ball movement. Ball didn't stick. Mike's got his veterans in the game, with the exception of these two McDonald's All-Americans who have earned the right for more minutes tonight, and Scotty Lewis and Trey Mann. But you're talking about excellent offensive execution right in front of your head coach. And then Noah Locke pays it off with the corner three.
Locke commits a foul. That's his third and the 8th team foul on the Gators. And it'll put Alpha Diallo at the free throw line. 6'7" senior from right here in New York. Preseason first team all-conference in the Big East.
They have lived at the free throw line, but on par. They're at about 67% on the season. They're about 67% tonight. Diallo, who's gotten there 17 times. That was his 18th attempt. He has been fouled 14 times.
Is that a lot?
Much like you and I last night. At least 14 apiece.
I had 3 on the curb alone. Watch into the free throw line, because it was icy out there.
But it's incredible. This guy's been fouled 14 times, but he has left so many opportunities from the free throw line. He's 10 for 18. He's missed a couple of front ends. Love his aggression, love his ability. If you're Ed Cooley, he has danced this dance before. You just got to stay the course. And hopefully your guys can start finishing more efficiently. Effort is there. Execution is solid. They're just not finishing plays.
The last foul, pardon me, was on Kerry Blackshear. What's Ed Cooley like as a person? I know you've spent a lot of time around him.
Easy Ed Cooley. Good dude right there. He's a coach's coach. What you see is what you get. I like those guys that don't mince words. I don't know. That's where maybe you and I sometimes have issues. But Ed doesn't mince words. He's done a great job at Providence. Very involved with USA basketball.
Out of Central High School in Providence.
Good guy. I've had a few laughs with him.
Here's Watson getting a touch.
That guy's had a great game.
18 for Nate Watson on 5 of 9 shooting.
Right there he shows you the step back, opens up in the mid post and shoots it in. He's shown the power game. He's gotten to the free throw line.
Let me ask you a question, because you've spent a lot of time with Mike White too. He was on your staff. If you, Mike White, and Ed Cooley went to dinner, what would be the topic of conversation if it wasn't basketball?
Wow, that is quite a question. I'd like first of all to talk about the great ball movement again by Florida, which cashed in with another Noah Locke corner three. There'll be some laughing, be some pouring. There'd be some basketball talk.
I think there'd be some stories.
Oh, there would be some stories. There'd be some stories that we were all involved in together, which would be entertaining.
Just make sure it happens in a soundproof booth. Florida with a 20-point lead on Providence. Thanks to their hot shooting from deep, 47% from three. Don't miss Sports Center later tonight with Kenny Mayne and my guy John Anderson. We'll have Tim Legler join the show to break down Lakers Pacers. Plus Jimmy Butler takes on his toughest opponent, the open water, and the keys to victory in Saturday's big NFL matchups. Bills, Patriots, and Rams 49ers. Sports Center, 11 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app.
Congratulations, Drew Brees. I'm sure he's watching.
You think?
What a night he had last night. I got a chance to watch that. Wow, the running hook.
Old school. He missed once, Drew Brees did last night. His former team, Purdue, is getting started on ESPN News right now against Ohio.
Ed Cooley, Matt Painter, the Purdue coach, has done an outstanding job. Very good friends. Me, Matt Painter, Ed Cooley have had some moments as well.
A.J. Reeves commits his fourth.
Andrew Nembhard's been terrific in the second half. Florida's been much more efficient offensively. Terrific ball movement. That's typically how it works, too. When you're in front of your own bench, you've got a lot of set of eyes there with Mike and his outstanding staff that can help these young guys see things offensively when the ball is in front of them. And they have paid it off, cashing in at over 52% this half. And Andrew Nembhard has been the quarterback, Drew Brees-like, with his decision-making in the second half. Now Florida throws a little zone, something to work on. Looked like a little 3-2. Ball got in the center to their best player, but once again, inability to make a jump shot.
Florida only plays zone about 5% of the time this season. Nembhard feeds it.
Likes employing them to move the ball, move with your bodies.
Traffic cops talking to you last night. Let's go back to the studios. We check in with Kevin Connors.
Hey, Tom, we want to let you know Purdue and Ohio is underway right now over on ESPN News. Ohio's got a guy, Jason Preston, drawn a lot of attention from NBA folks. Purdue, of course, has that blowout win over Virginia. It's over on ESPN News and here on ESPN2 when things go final in Brooklyn.
All right, Kevin, thanks. On the baseline out of bounds, Keontae Johnson simply tips it in on the lob and gets fouled.
Great eye contact again. We were talking. Mike draws up really nice stuff. That's just great. That's just great eye contact. The defender had good position, but he did not see the ball. As a result, an easy one for Keontae.
And he's got a 17-point game. Florida on an 8-0 run.
That's a solid game. 17 and 8. 4 steals. Silently the MVP in this game for Florida. You want to finish this game if you're Mike. You want to finish it right. They've been tremendous defensively. Don't let up on that end. Continue to battle, but there's a lot of positives that the Gators are going to be able to take to them. Back to Gainesville.
Comfortable advantage for the Gators.
Keontae Johnson has been tremendous. A pretty quiet 17 and 9. Been efficient the entire game. 4 big steals, showing us inside, showing us outside. Perfect from the free throw line. I think he's the most versatile Gator. And if he can continue to produce like he is doing tonight, huge advantage for Florida moving forward.
He's tonight's Air Force Reserve Player of the Game. 17 points, 9 boards, and 4 steals. I'd like to steal those sweaters.
Wow.
What do you think?
Those have to be stolen.
Correct? I hope so. This came with a bowl of soup.
Or a haircut.
Looks like something Seth Greenberg would wear. Malik White able to finish his first bucket for the senior out of Richmond, Virginia.
Seth Coogee down to the socks. You think he could pull off that sweater?
I don't want him to pull it off. Here's Blackshear.
We've had enough of that tonight. Great pass right there by Kerry Blackshear, who's been relatively quiet. A lot of other pieces have stepped up and made big plays. You can tell when he's going to his left, not nearly as explosive. Providence doing a good job not allowing him to get to his right hand.
He's 6'10", 241, but he's not a great post-up player. He only shoots 44% on post-ups. And you talked earlier about the versatility of his game, especially his passing ability.
Well, he's got great touch, and he's got good length, good instincts. Mike says he's been a tremendous addition, almost like a coach on the floor, a big brother to a number of these young Gators trying to figure it out.
Yeah, he's worldly. His dad played overseas. He lived in Spain as a kid. He'll start coming back and forth from the States. He's got a 7-point game. An Orlando native, grew up a Florida fan, and went to play for Buzz at Virginia Tech.
I had a number of post-grads, some better than others, and it's not always a smooth transition because, you know, he's coming in, an all-ACC player, trying to make an immediate impact on Florida basketball and in the SEC. But it seems to have been a smooth transition because of the way in which he's approached the transition, and his game is tailor-made to make others better. And I think Florida's done a good job of trying to play through him. He's not overly athletic. That's the one thing that when you get into SEC play, it's as athletic a league as you'll find in college basketball. And I'm anxious to see how KJ handles that.
Even among those who play his position, the bigs.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell tonight, even though he's got a length advantage over his counterpart, Nate Watson. Nate Watson's done a good job on him by using that size and strength inside and not allowing KJ to get comfortable.
Trey Mann took a bump. He'll go to the free throw line. It's a second on Nate Watson. Still to come tonight, Miami and Temple over on ESPNU. It'll get started approximately 25 minutes after this one ends. So if you want to see us on camera, 22 minutes. Here's Mann at the free throw line. Grew up in Gainesville, played his high school ball down the street at the Villages. You ever driven down I-75 going on spring break, going to Disney World? You see all these billboards for this retirement community, the Villages, a lot of golf courses, a lot of retirees. Trey Mann decided to go down and play hoops down there.
Good move. Worked out for everybody. Kid's had a great game. He is a super talented kid. He has come in and made a huge impact off Mike's bench tonight. Had a great game. Continue to pound it inside. Empty possession. Good move. Just didn't finish it off. Nate Watson, Alpha Diallo have been very, very active. The problem is there's not been a lot of other Friars contributing. That's where he's better. If he can get to that left shoulder, right hand, his length allows him to just play over the top.
Duke leaves the three short. Under 2 minutes to go.
1 for 17 now for Providence. It's really the story of the game.
Oh. A whole bottle of Keontae now. He's got 19.
Great cut, great pass by Quez Glover, and great finish.
Let's get you to the studio. Check in with Kevin Connors.
Fine collection of sweaters when he's wearing these medium suits. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a body for medium suits. I don't understand it.
You know, I figured that was going to be a one-man hit from the studio, but with Seth Greenberg in vicinity, you're not going to be able to get a solo shot.
No, there's no way you're slipping anything by the KG veteran. I think Seth with the Coogee down to the socks wears it well. Coach, our chin-up guy that we've been showing all night's not the only one with lack of awareness. My man T. Hart sometimes drifts out of his lane.
They should stick around and do the second game with us tonight.
Oh, yeah. They're not going to have to replace the nets.
No, but they might have to repaint the rims. Miami ready to take the floor. They got some shooters on that squad.
Florida's actually been, if Mike White could bottle this game, he's got to be really, really pleased when they land back in Gainesville. In a few hours, he's got to be really pleased. They came in defensively and were dominant on cue. And offensively, it's as well as they have played in quite some time with efficient ball movement, multiple guys contributing. Great high ball screen and roll. One freshman to another. Trey Mann, great pass. Great finish by Omar Payne.
A hang and a hit from Malik White, his second bucket of the night. What are you looking forward to with Miami and Temple in the next game?
Big game for both of these programs. I've seen Temple earlier down in the Orlando Invitational. I think Aaron McKee has done a tremendous job in his first year back at his alma mater. And then Jim Larinaga, native New Yorker, back in his home state.
Archbishop Malloy.
He's got a team that's interesting because offensively, they're very, very efficient. They have struggled defensively. That's an area in which if they can get cleaned up, they have a number of offensive weapons. Love their point guard play. Little Chris Likes.
There's Scotty Lewis at the free throw line.
It's a big game for both of these programs simply because opportunities are running out as it relates to December prior to you getting into your league play. So you need to try to beat other teams from other major conferences to not only help your own program, but to boost the rating of your league. Those things are vitally important on Selection Sunday.
Scotty Lewis has 7. Comfortable win for Florida tonight.
Impressive win. Mike's got to be really, really pleased with the way his guys came in and totally control this game on both ends of the floor.
Gators going to move to 4-0 in neutral site games with this one. And they'll go to 5-0 all time against Providence. Wes Glover, good game off the bench for Florida.
Everybody that Mike put in has contributed. Again, a lot to take from this film in a positive way as you take another step towards the Christmas break, and then it is SEC time.
Man off the mark. Wow, what a finish by Omar Payne. Major Payne throws it down. He's got a half dozen and an exclamation point on this one. Won't get much easier for Providence. They get Texas at home on Saturday. And they need to figure out if they're going to be competitive in the Big East, because their non-conference slate was not up to expectations. 83-51 our final. Temple and Miami on ESPNU in about 25 minutes. Coming up next on ESPN2, we're going to get you to Purdue versus Ohio with Kevin Brown and Robbie Hummel. See you back in Brooklyn shortly over on ESPNU.